Exiled on a tropical island, this is Masha's new life. This Russian citizen lives on the Thai island of Koh Phangan. She and her family have been unable to return home since the start of the Ukraine war in early 2022. For security reasons, we're not filming her husband, who risks prison in Russia for his opposition to Putin's war.
There is a war going on. I could come back, but my husband not, because the man his age, they are it's a mobilization, so they could take him for the war, even if they are against it.
Thailand's unusual in that Russians do not need tourist visas to visit. In 2023 alone, about 500,000 Russians visited Thailand. That's an increase of 20% compared to 2019. Now, about 60,000 Russians are thought to be living here illegally.
I feel it not safe to live in the place where I cannot talk freely about what worries me, where my son and my husband won't be quite safe. For now, my home is here, so.
Most settle in major tourist centres like Phuket, where there are more than 60,000 Russians. It's a community that tries to be discreet. We travel to Koh Phangan to meet some of these exiles. The island is now home to Russian artists and opponents of Putin's regime. Here, they don't just enjoy the tropical climate and affordable cost of living. Thailand offers them a taste of freedom.
It's not just a refuge. I want my child to grow up without censoring, without propaganda and politics. I want him away from this.
On Koh Phangan, we met several men who had fled conscription. But they were worried about the families they'd left behind in Russia and refused to speak to us. Nata is raising her young son alone on Koh Phangan. When the Ukraine war started, she found herself stranded on the island.
We were very scared. And of course, we were upset because we didn't choose it. Or at the beginning, it was completely unclear. There was no truthful information.
She doesn't have a permit to work in Thailand. For a few €100 a month, she gives online astrology sessions. But it's not enough to cover her monthly living expenses of more than €1,000. To make ends meet, Nata invested her savings in cryptocurrencies.
It's not easy for a single mother to live here because kindergartens are very expensive. So is school. Nothing is free here.
Russians aren't alone in seeking refuge in Thailand. Many Ukrainians have followed suit. When the invasion of his homeland started, Sergei decided to stay in Thailand to avoid conscription. A resident of Koh Phangan for 6 years, the pacifist refused to fight, a choice he struggles to justify to his family.
It's sometimes hard for me knowing that my loved ones are in the combat zone. My brother's directly involved in the war and I'm living here in paradise. Knowing the pain that the people I love are experiencing is really hard to take.
Sergei is a successful entrepreneur working in real estate, a highly profitable sector in Koh Phangan. He and his Russian business partner recently opened this paddle tennis center.
All of my partners are Russians. Yeah, they're Russian guys who think completely differently. They call the war what it really is. A war. That's very important to me.
Russians and Ukrainians are working together, 7,000 kilometers from the front line. Their friendship seems unusual, but on Koh Phangan, the war feels very far away. Katya, a Russian Buddhist, is doing her best to ensure that the conflict doesn't spill over into island life.
2 years ago, I started to gather Russian and Ukrainian people in my little place who was supporting each other because no matter from which country you are, we are one. And this is also like the statement of Buddhism.
Katya, who's lived on Koh Phangan for many years, has witnessed the island's transformation, the result of distant wars.
Koh Phangan become like a refugee place. It's Russia, Ukraine, a lot of Burmese people, from Israel people who run away from their countries because it's become not possible, it's become not safe anymore.
These exiles believe they've found peace on Koh Phangan. Thai authorities are making the most of the influx. This year they hope to attract more than 2 million Russian tourists, along with more than €3 billion in economic benefits.